What's up, YouTube? It's Ben with Underrated Garage. I'm here with my filthy drift car 350Z, and we're going to be installing a Flashark Catch Can on it. My Z is a 2006, which came with the revup engine. These are actually notoriously the VQs that burn the most oil out of all of them. Now I'm going to pop the hood and tell you some of the reasons these cars do burn oil, and then we're going to open up this oil catch can kit from Flashark and start installing it. I'm going to show you guys a little hack while I'm at it. This is the hood prop, and unlike Hondas and stuff, this is the only position the hood prop is designed to go in the hood. So this is the angle you get out of it. When you're trying to work from the side, it can kind of be in your way, and in my case, my light is directly overhead, so the light doesn't actually get to the motor. So I use my jack handle here, put it under the hood there by the headlight, and then up here on this rubber grommet, and now the hood is like full vertical. You can see in my case, the light is shining right on the engine now, and you have way more clearance to work under this hood from all angles. Now, getting into the oil consumption issue, a lot of people will hate on VQs saying they burn oil. If you're noticing like clouds of blue smoke coming out the back of the car and it's running rough because it's burning so much oil, you probably have bad piston rings, which is an internal engine failure and not something you're going to be able to fix without replacing or rebuilding the engine. On the other hand, a lot of them will burn oil just by pulling it through the PCV system into the intake. Right over here on the passenger side valve cover, you have a PCV valve and a hose that goes right to a port on the intake manifold. So anything that's in this valve cover that gets pulled up through that PCV valve is getting sucked straight into the intake, and then inevitably either trapped in the intake or burnt off in the engine. That's why you would want to install an oil catch can, which is basically a median. It'll trap anything in between so that all you're getting is fresh air into the intake through this, but the engine can still breathe and allow those things out. Enough blabbing for me right now. I want to open this catch can up. We have the two hoses that you need, the bracket, the adapter ports, some hose clamps. Here's the catch can itself. Let's see what that looks like. So on the bottom here, you have a drain port, your two ports in and out. There's a lid with an O-ring, so you can get in there. See, it's just like a cup pretty much, but it has baffles in here so that it actually traps the bad stuff in and doesn't pull it back out. Flashark even included like a little install guide, which is pretty nice of them. It's a very simple install. I'm going to show you guys, but that's nice of them. So looking at the bracket for it, I actually really like the way they designed this. It replaces the power steering reservoir bracket right there. You just put those grommets in and you can see it has this upper left and then the two lower right grommet points. It has the part that the factory reservoir slides onto, and then also this additional piece right here where the catch can is going to sit. Very nice. Easy bolt-on design. I'm happy with that. Let's get to it. I'm going to pop these 3 10mm off, as well as release the power steering reservoir from that bracket. I'm now realizing it would have made a lot more sense to take this off before I took those bolts out, so I'm going to put one back in so I can actually pull up on this thing. She was really stuck on there, but after a little manipulation, I got that off. I can pull this bolt back off, and boom. There's the factory bracket. I'm gonna swap the grommets over and then throw that back on the car. Grommets on the new adapter bracket. We're gonna throw this thing back on. Is going to be setting up the catch can to be able to be installed on the car. So I'm going to put those 2 threaded fittings on it. Just for what? They thread right into these ports at the top. So it looks like they were a 19. I just had a ratchet available, so that's what I'm using. You could either use a deep socket or a wrench. And you don't want to over tighten something like this, but I want to make sure that this drain plug is tight because you never know if it loosened in shipping. So I'm going to grab an Allen key for that, make sure that's tight. 6mm Allen wrench. Oh, look at that, it's turning. So it wasn't fully tight. So I got the little bolts. They're going to go through these slotted openings and into the catch. I don't know if I'm gonna have to modify the bracket or if just tightening the bolts down will pull it to the right angle. So we'll see on that. Now with the Phillips head screwdriver, I'm gonna tighten these down. So I did not end up having to bend the bracket, but the catch can is touching against the power steering reservoir. That doesn't matter at all good. So next up, I'm gonna take this lower clamp and this upper clamp off this PCV line and start setting up the new hoses to the catch can. Pop that right off the PCV valve. And slid that end right off the intake manifold. So I'd rather give you a visual on where these hoses go. You've got the 90 that goes from the PCV valve down there right to the import on the catch can. So that's gonna sit like that and get clamped on. And then you have this S-type hose that's going to go to the out port on the catch can and that port on the intake manifold. Under this wiring harness, obviously, but that's how it's gonna sit. 2 slightly smaller and 2 slightly bigger hose clamps. The bigger ones go on the catch can side, the smaller ones go on the car side. So with the hose clamps over top of the hose, I can now put this on, slide it onto the PCV valve, no problem, and then slide the other end on to the catch can. Wow, that was easy. All right, lower one is tight around the PCV valve. I'm gonna go under this wiring harness and then slide that end on to the intake and go right on the catch can. Just like that. One tight, one left to go. Simple as that. Our Flashark oil catch can system is set up. That's the same on all the VQ35 DE and DE revup engines, which is on the 03 to 06 350Z and the 04 to 07 G35s. We're left behind with the old power steering bracket and the old PCV hose. You can keep them if you want, just in case. So major shout out to Flashark for making this easy, affordable bolt-on catch can solution for the VQs. So now you know some of the reasons that your VQ may be burning oil, and you know how to install an oil catch can, hopefully from Flashark because they make a good kit for it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this simple install and explanation video about oil consumption on VQs and how to install a catch can. And we're actually going to be doing a major overhaul on this car, getting it ready to go drifting at the track. I have a lot of goodies. I'm not even going to tell you now, but the next video about this car will be getting it track ready. So stay tuned, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you guys soon.